Mic test 1 2 1 2. Welcome to MAPP Presents. You guys bear with me a second. We're going to be connected with a screen momentarily while we wait for some people to pile in here. If you're new to this channel, we like to discuss the Fear the Walking Dead and the Walking Dead episodes live after each episode. The first 10 to 15 minutes of this live stream is reserved for the first impression review, and then afterwards, if you want to stick around, we do a fan feedback anywhere from 45 minutes to 10,000 hours long. Anyhow, I'm going to just make sure we got the sound good, the visual good, and everyone in the chat up and running, and then we'll dive right into the first impression review if you guys give me just about a minute and a half to make sure we're all good. Move the comments over here. For those jumping in just now, I'm going to mention it again too, but Juliet has a channel. We started her channel. Nothing's on it except for just a teaser. And me and Juliet will talk a little bit about it at the end of this, but it is typical Juju. There is one video up, and we're going to advertise it this week a little bit, but it's going to be like one episode a week for starters of some fun, goofy stuff. So
and you better subscribe.
Like I said, me and Juliet will talk about it at the end. Anyway, I'll unchain her and take off the muzzle when we're done, and we'll talk about it then. Let's dive right into the first impression review for Fear the Walking Dead, Season 4, Episode 13. This is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a tough one. I'm a little mixed. I am a little mixed. There was moments I did like. Last episode, let me just say this. In the beginning of this season, I really was liking a lot of what they were doing. A lot. Yeah, there's some bumps along the way. And then starting off this new half, something just, I don't know, it didn't seem right. The last episode in particular, it was so, it was so just bad, you know? And I'm not just talking about enjoyable story. I'm talking about so many things that jumped out and slapped you in the face, and it was like, wait, that doesn't make any sense, or that's inconsistent, or that doesn't make any sense. And I even tried to give that episode another chance. I thought maybe I was a little rough on it. Maybe I just wasn't, in the right state of mind. And I rewatched it again, and I still feel the same way. It's probably one of the worst. I mean, and logically speaking, not just the performances and the camera work or whatever. It's just the episode isn't logically sound whatsoever. This episode, I didn't have as many problems in that aspect. However, I'm getting the feeling. At first, I thought maybe the writers just they don't want to introduce anything new. And then this episode, it hit me like a ton of bricks, and I had to scribble it down quick. I kind of feel like that's not it at all. It's not that the writers don't want to take a risk and give us something new and fresh and interesting. I kind of feel like they're studying everything that we've gotten before, and they're too afraid to do a risk, and they're just like, why risk it when we could just keep repeating the formula that we've already done? Like, a lot of it's just repetitive. This girl now, isn't she just like a mixture of either Crazy Morgan or the Wolves in particular? Just, and you can lump that in with a lot of different touch people that they run into along the way. So the intro with Crazy Generic Michonne, this is where I had that revelation, or that, it dawned on me. It's not that they don't, and again, I don't know if it's that they don't want to take the risks and give us something new and fresh and interesting, but maybe they just, they don't want to risk it because of the ratings, so they're being repetitive by giving us stuff that's familiar that we've had in the past. And I think that's my biggest complaint with more of the Fear Season 4 episodes and moments, not just whole episodes, but moments that kind of feel to me. When I was loving when it came back, I thought it came back strong. Now, let's get to the washed out colors. I want to get that other negative out of the way. And I promise, towards the end, I started liking some, even though it was predictable. Like like right when Lucy found that dude, how many of you guys immediately went, oh, here we go, he's a truck driver, And then when she was looking for the beer, I remembered that guy, remember? I was like, when that scene happened, I'm like, what is the point of it? The guy takes the one beer out and he puts it in the one box, and then this dude, we're gonna get to it, but those moments, although I liked them, it was the first thing that popped in my head, and it was like, oh, we're gonna do a whole episode on this. So that's why I am a little bit mixed. I kind of feel like if they did that, but it was the B story that was in this episode, but we had a more important A story, I think I would have been loving it. And I think that's where my problem comes in. Yeah, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I think that's perfectly it. We got a whole episode of B and no A. And I feel like that left me a little bit on I don't know. It left with a bad taste in my mouth. The washed out colors, I'm getting sick of this. I'm getting real tired of this shit. There's no life to it. I love a beautiful image of the post-apocalyptic landscape where the greens are green, the blues are blue. It pops, and it has that visual beauty in this, broken and torn down world. The contradiction there, the visual contradiction is poetic and gorgeous. Fear the Walking Dead, and even The Walking Dead to a point, it doesn't have any of that, because they do this artificial filters where they wash out the colors just to make sure it has that gritty post-apocalyptic vibe, and it's really dragging me down, because there's a lot of shots where I'm thinking, man, if they just knock it off with toning all the colors down, they could be beautiful shots, because like I said before, you get that natural beauty of what you're looking at, but you also get that underlining, or maybe even sometimes overwhelming dread from being in a post-apocalyptic world. And I think robbing the show visually of that contradiction, a beautiful contradiction in my opinion, it makes the show worse for it. 100%. It hurts it. It's like, why would you even do that? It makes me want to say, you know what? This. I wanna go on Indiegogo or Kickstarter or whoever. Not now. I'm saying, like, let's say 2 years from now, I want to do it. I'm writing it on my bucket list, and I want to make a post-apocalyptic that pops, that has that beauty to it, but also that gore and grit. It can be done. Don't tell me it can't be done. Somebody out there needs to do it. Someone says they love the apocalyptic washed out filming. Here's the thing. I like it too. Not with every single show and movie. They all do it. They all do it. We need someone to break the mold and just stop. The Last of Us has some amazing landscape images, and they could play with it to some degree, but I don't remember it being utterly washed out. There was some beautiful imaging. It doesn't matter. So I'm going on and on about that because that's something visually that I think could be a huge upgrade in this show, and it's something that it might be just our different tastes, but it's something that I would love to see put back into the show. Some vibrant colors and not so artificially washed out, because keep in mind, that's a big thing. The real world doesn't look like that, so when you get these, whatever. Anyhow, Morgan with the stick, that little gimmick where she pulls out the knife and he slaps just like Nick did, I still like it. I know there's probably some people that are like, oh, here we go again, but I still like that. And she played it off too, where she had that little fidget, and then she was like, okay, we're good now. Lucy finding somebody who's near death, who immediately, I'm pretty sure a lot of people were like, oh, there's the truck driver, because this is what they're driving at. And then he turns into like Beth 2.0. He's dying, and then he just wants a beer. And this is where it clicked in my head. I sent a tweet out. I was like, oh my God, just stab Beth 2.0, because we all know where this is going. It's going for the moment that's going to reinvigorate her. And again, this is another thing that's kind of dragging me down with the show, is every episode, it's like this deep philosophical, something moves a character, and I'm kind of missing how we would have a character like Carol, for example, goes through almost a whole season, and then she has that one emotional break point. Like a lot of characters do stuff like that. But now it's becoming every episode. Now it's multiple characters every episode sometimes. And in Fear the Walking Dead, I think they're overdoing it. Why can't they just have a simple moment where it's like, why would you help a stranger? Dude, I'm just not going to let you bleed out. All right? It's that simple. No, and her and what's his name said the same thing. Their dialogue was identical. I think it was John or Morgan. Yeah, Morgan. He said, well, I have a lot to make up for. Lucy said the same shit, and that was probably their point, but that adds to what is taking my interest down a notch, Lucy, okay, so I'm getting sick of Strand. He's just, I don't know. And I like Strand. I think the actor has some charisma. But in this episode, I'm just sick of him. I don't know what it is, man. I just want him to shut up. Just shut up when you're negative, bitch and moan and complaining. And I don't even think character development-wise, we've really developed Strand. Except for that Madison having that bond with Madison. I mean, he was crushed when his boyfriend died, and then he built the bond with Madison, and then with Madison's death, yeah, that's going to be, a gaping hole. He lost, like, his best buddy, his post-apocalyptic best buddy. But something out of it, him being in that rut, I don't know, man. Unless they do something banging at the end of this, he's just pissing me off. Strand and John, though, they had some banter back and forth that I like. I think those two characters, especially both actors, have great charisma, and then together they have some moments, like even that little moment with the battery. The shit with the crocodile, though, or the alligator, do they do that? I don't know. I haven't been around much alligators, but that seemed like for a moment there it was going to go into straight Jaws territory, but... yeah, I can suspend some disbelief because I kind of like that idea, even though, and I think this is a problem with me, I'm totally confused on why they're stuck there. Can't they just go a different area? I know they said they're on like an island, but I think I missed like how that happened somewhere along the line. And I don't blame that on the show. I blame it on me. I probably missed like the first 2 minutes of an episode somewhere, and they showed that. 'Cause I have no idea what the hell they're doing. Being stuck on that island. So they're trying to get off. I like he uses the top of the truck and all that with the jugs filled with air and stuff like that to help them float. Yeah, I'm digging all that. Lucy with the I failed, which leads into the raft. Oh, I want to say one. I'm sorry. I want to say one more thing about the raft. The raft was cool, and this is another thing that. Again, I feel like a lot in this episode were too predictable right before the reveal. Right when he did the battery thing, I'm sure a lot of people, same thing with me as well, I know how this is going to work. They're going to jump in, battery's going to die halfway across because you need that tension. You know what I'm saying? They're always, screenwriters, as predictable as they are, it's always going to be that tension moment. I feel like a good way to divert that, or maybe if they polish the script, was having that battery work and something else cause it. Or something else happen, because that's the first thing you think of. Oh, how are we getting conflict in here? Well, the battery's going to die. And then and what happened is going to happen. It's the most predictable thing. And back to Lucy, though, with the boxes. I'll stay mixed on this, but I kind of dig it. But I'm going to circle back to my main big problem is I feel like it needed an A story that got worked out. You know what I'm saying? Something a little more exciting, a little more progression along the way. If we had her finding the box and that was like the subtle B story, I think it would have been beautiful, man. He's a truck driver, and it comes back full circle where he got his like dying wish out of his own box that Morgan kept going. There's a part of that I do like. Again, if it was in the B story part, I think it would have been a home run in that case. But it felt like the episode was still missing something, missing an oomph somewhat. Last moments. Oh, I did laugh, though, because I in my head, I don't know. I think I lost track and when he was like, can I give you something? I think in my head, I was laughing. I was thinking of stupid shit. But anyway, Quinn, dun dun dun, that. No, was he Quinn? No, the other guy was Quinn. I don't know Polar Bear's name, but that was Polar Bear. And where did she get Diesel? Some of these other little notes I made. The crazy generic Michonne. I think they covered that. But I forgot it. Like the guy said he got Diesel somewhere and then he was on his way back. I don't know if I buy all that, but I can let that slide. That's fine. Was the alligator a walker since it was eating them? No, animals don't turn in this universe, so the alligator was an alligator. If the animals get sick, like if they get bit by a walker like a deer, they just die. But they don't. Yeah, pervert. And then the end, the girl pulls up with the SWAT van and unloads on everybody. I don't believe they would do a death. If they were going to do a death inside with Morgan, the way she said you lose people and then you lose yourself, I kind of feel like they would have showed it in that moment. You know, they would have showed at least one person get clapped when the bullets were coming in. Let's say June. Let's say June gets shot up, and then it cuts to black. So I don't think anyone's going to die in that moment. However, she is kind of annoying me. Think about it. If they stopped, if they just put their brakes on and whooped her ass, what is she going to do? She can't align the truck to shoot at them. Are you kidding me? You could move quicker. Is she going to run you guys over? I feel like the best thing they could have done was just stopped and then whooped her ass. They know it's only her. Or at least they have enough evidence to believe it is only her. I mean, by the time she pulls out the walker, I don't know. Yeah, discount Cray Michonne. I'm not buying it, man. I'm not buying it. So I guess that's the end of my mixed review, where essentially I am mixed. There's moments I like, but I think it needs another strong polish on the script. A little once over, add some more elements, and then these other elements that end up being the dun 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 moments, they're just not strong enough. There's just not a lot of weight to them. So if they would move those to let's use an analogy. If it's spaghetti, you're making spaghetti. If the episode was spaghetti, we got all sauce. There's no noodles, and that's why I'm mixed. Even though the sauce was good, you have the sauce, there's good moments, there's promise. It's not a good dish of spaghetti because you didn't give me no damn noodles, There's no substance to this. So I think I actually really like the sound of that. But that's exactly how I feel with this episode. So, the good was good, the bad was bad, left a little underwhelming, and I have no clue where they're going, other than connecting everybody with a death coming up. If they connect everyone with either a death or 2 deaths coming up, and then they shift it obviously into, it feels like they want to give us a hint at what could be coming up for season 5, but essentially a small one that there's wiggle room to kind of flesh that out for season 5 based on some of the ratings. But essentially a lot of this is feeling like filler, not always interesting filler. Just to bring the characters together again. And I'll tell you one more last thing that did frustrate me. And I don't mean to be overly negative, because I do see some promise and potential in some of these moments that could really, grab my interest. One negative thing is separating the characters just to artificially put 2 characters. And we should have saw this coming when the screenwriter said, the showrunner said, you're going to see people together who you wouldn't expect to be together. And it's like, it's the most artificial way. Somebody comes in, something comes in, storm, separates the people, some event, and then look at this. Who hasn't had screen time together? Al and June. Okay, let's pick John and Strand. It's kind of that little bit, and then it sends them out there. I kind of feel like a more organic. We don't need them separated to have these characters go off on runs. Maybe everyone's doing a certain job, and you need Strand and John are the only ones able for this job. So send them off. We don't need something like a storm and everyone getting separated, because after this point in Fear the Walking Dead, nobody, no way, no how, under any circumstances, there should be nobody being separated from this point on. It is memeing itself, and it's getting ridiculous and uninteresting. How many times are we going to have these characters get separated and then reuniting? It's just not, I don't know. Anyhow, that's my thoughts and opinion on it. I'm mixed. I think some parts I liked, some parts I didn't like, and it wasn't that interesting. I felt like if I didn't review it, I would be reaching for my phone to watch videos at the same time I was watching this, to be honest. So now we're going to drop the review. You guys aren't going to notice anything, and we're going to switch right into the fan feedback from you guys. If you want to say anything, because I know some people are talking to each other, if you want to say something directly to me, go ahead and put Q&A in the first, in the very start of your comment. I've said that 1,000 times. I don't know why I'm messing that up, but go ahead and put Q&A in your comment, and I'm going to look for those. I'm going to scroll down. I'll try to find some others that were put out there earlier that didn't have Q&A in it, but I'm going to look for that as I scroll down to the new comments. Let's look at the super chat real quick. What's up, buddy? Dude guys with a $5 super chat, thank you very much for the support. Hey man, just uploaded a teaser trailer for the Doomsday Kingdom movie. It's 20 seconds long if you're interested in checking it out later. Hell yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Once I figure out how to get a solid internet, I mean solid, so that way I can live stream, play a game, and pull up live streams, because right now, if I pull up that video and play it on YouTube for whatever reason, the live stream starts glitching out. So I'll have to look that up at the end when I'm done. But yeah, I'll check that out. Alright, let me dive into the comments and see what we got here. Oh, I hate water. I forgot to put my iced tea. I forgot to make iced tea. Someone needs to make a meme with Ronnie and no noodles. I'm down for that. I'll make some shirts, where's my noodles? No, that doesn't have enough zing to it, but I do want to make shirts for Doomsday Kingdom, the Rot On shirts. We want to really pump that because I love that. So maybe we'll get it in the artist's handwriting or something, or maybe we'll have a style limited edition with my handwriting, like a signature shirt, and then we'll get some in the artists, and then we'll get some where it's like a design. Those will be cool. Just take the show back to Los Angeles. They'll never do it because of budget, and we know that because they said that. It's not going to happen, even though that might have been cool. Season 5, Journey to Alexandria. I'm fine with that as long as it's not, we're going to Alexandria. Next episode, they're there. Like, let's really show them traveling, you know? And they don't all have to make it there. I don't want them all to make it there. I want them to get kind of close, and then some of them say, listen, Morgan, we found something here we want to stick with. We'll come and visit you. Go find your people. If they're not there, come back to us. If they're there, you know, see your people and then come back. We're close enough where you can travel back and forth. I want that to happen, if anything. Let's see what else we got. Season 4 seasons in, haven't they been separated every season? Except for one. I don't think, little moments, which I won't even be nitpicky and count those. Like, remember when they got trapped in the whatever? Those are little moments where they know where each other is. It's not like a huge separation moment. In season 2, you got separated with a couple different people with him. What's his name? Danny, blowing up the place. Danny gets separated. Nick gets separated. A couple others get separated. Travis, remember? Travis runs off in season 2. And then in season 3... come on, who gets separated? Someone help me out. And then, yeah, in season 4, we get separated. So from 2, 3, and 4, what was 3? People were separated in 3 because I remember early on they reunited. Somebody said, dude, guys, your latest video is misleading. You put confirmed in the title, but nothing was confirmed. Oh, you better answer for that, boy. Why is the new villain a bootleg Michonne on crack? No, she's not on crack. She went swimming in crack. You can see it all on her face. A black woman loner with dreadlocks that keep Walker pets on a leash. Fear does not even try anymore. See, and that's what I'm saying. That is... You mean to tell me these people who... And I want to believe so many people want to work in the entertainment industry, only like the best of the best. Sure, some people get in there because of family and friends. Sure. That's pretty much everywhere. It's probably rampant in the entertainment industry. But you mean to tell me nobody, I mean nobody, stood up and said, guys, we got a black chick, we got dreadlocks, we got Walker pets, different variation. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's a little bit heavier than Michonne. Dreadlocks, she doesn't have the, she wears them different, is what I'm saying. What am I thinking of? The Rambo wears it and shit. Come on, what's it called? And then the Walker pets it's not like pets, it's like pet weapons. Nobody stood up and said, come on. I feel like that's purposefully done. I feel like they sit back and they go, okay, listen, they like Michonne. They like Walker Pets. They like the Wolves. There was a lot of fans that liked the Wolves, the craziness. Ooh, this crazy villain. They liked Morgan being in the clear. Morgan he can kind of relate. Let's bring this because it's a little bit of a slight variation of what they've already seen, and we know they like that. So let's keep giving them that. That's one of my biggest problems. Fear the Walking Dead feels like, especially, I could say this from the past as well, but especially now when it really hits you, it feels like they're doing that on purpose. It's not that they're incompetent. They're purposefully looking for stuff that we've already had and they know we liked. So they think because we liked it before, we're going to continue to like it again, which is wrong. We'll like it, but it's not going to be as interesting. You know what I'm saying? If you see the shocking boom once and you see it again and again, just a different villain, it's not as interesting. Okay. I thought June used all the camera battery. I had the same thought too. I don't like the diesel. I don't know. Maybe they showed the girl charge it. I don't know. Over half the episode was kind of slow and filler, but the end was a good payoff. Filler. Q&A. How do you think the crazy lady has an effect on Morgan? Because in the season 4 trailer, he had the Sharpie written on his head with I lose people and I lose myself saying. To be honest, I kind of feel like something happens and she wrote that on his head. And, you know, he goes to clean up or wash up in the bathroom and he sees it. So, yeah, I don't think she makes him crack. I think she writes it on him. What happened to the threat? The storm. Oh, that's it. That's it. That was it. The storm wasn't a threat. The storm was only to separate the group, which I think that's the one thing that hit me the most. You guys know how excited I was for the storm. I wanted to see, like, how would they survive through natural disasters, you know, and I'm not talking about just finding shelter. There's a whole, we're not going to go into every single thing, but there's a whole dynamic to surviving in a collapsed world, and then especially on your own, but then with natural disasters, and how do they get food? What do they do for this? What do they do for that? It's like, we don't get any of it. Eric Cockrell. Q&A. Yo, Hayes. If Aaron gets Rick comic story and loses his arm by the Whisperers, how dope would it be if Aaron sustained the wound because he spotted a Whisperer wearing Eric's loose skin? Creepy. If the timeline was... If the gap was... If there was no time skip, I think that would be pretty cool. However, because of the time skip, because of the location... I would nitpick the hell out of that. I would just feel like it was forced. But I do think if the Whisperers saw the battle, if there was no time skip, and they saw the battling going on, and they were like, what are these people? This big war in our territory? We can't let this go down. We need to interject here. We need to spy on them. We need to send a message and shit. If that got the ball rolling... and they were there witnessing it, and they see him walk into the herd, and they were a part of that herd or something, I would dig that. But because of the time skip and everything going, because they're not going to sit around for a year and watch. I don't believe that. Not even if the writers say they did that, I don't buy that. Something is way off about that. I don't like that at all. Why would you watch them for a whole year and then decide, okay, they're expanding too much? No, once they start expanding, they would be like, nope. Good question, though. Good question. That's one of those moments where little things can change whether something works or not. You know what I'm saying? Dude, guys, with a $5 super chat. Just remember, it's shitty and not much of the actual movie has been filmed. I play the main character and am growing my beard out first. Oh, bro, if you think it's shitty, polish it up and then put it up and let us see it. But don't take it down, because now I want to see it. Now I'm curious. But yeah, do your thing, bro. Po-Fi with a $10 super chat. Thank you very much for the support. You know what it is. Thank you very much for the support, brother. What do we got here? If they let you direct seasons 1 to 4, what would you have done differently? Well, everything. We would never have 3 or 4, most likely. If they asked or said, hey, do something on the ocean, that would kind of be a little fun. I would love to kind of sit down and really, because I love thinking about shit like that. I love coming up with creative ways. where people could tell the story. So that would be interesting. Um, Imagine being on a boat. Let's just say you're on a boat, just as a quick thought, because you would need to get supplies. What if you're on a boat and you know somebody is on shore and they know you're there, but you can't go on shore or else they'll get you, but you're going to run out of supplies. So if they're sitting there waiting, it's kind of like the museum or the stadium thing where they're going to wait you out and then come onto the boat. So then you would have to find a way, but you know that that threat is always lingering, and then use that to motivate the story a little further. And I'm not saying that's what I would do. I'm saying I would think about random different ideas, like what would be tension filled, but also this, that, and the third. As far as season one, there would be no time skips. It would all be while shit is going down. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't try to, at least for the first 4 episodes, I wouldn't try to have any deep whatever. It would be all crazy, random chaos. I would try to make it as realistic and just let people soak that in. I think that would be so fun. Also very difficult to do. But that's the best you're going to get on a live stream. Dave, 504. Have you noticed that every week on Fear the episode rating changes from TV MA to TV 14? I only noticed it on Fear for this season only. Just seems the show is weaker as TV 14. I never noticed, to be honest. Alicia left her family after everyone at the ranch died. Yeah, okay, that was season 3. Q&A. When do you think they'll remove the gray filter? Hopefully by season 5. At this time, I think they'll lighten up, but I think it's staying. But it just feels extra heavy in Fear the Walking Dead. It really seems like the old Fear showrunner came back to this second half. Laugh out loud. Sylvia said, Q&A. In my classic Batman show voice, an alligator for Fear the Walking Dead. Will walkers now poop? Alligators are the cure. Stay tuned. Same Walker channel, same Walker time. An alligator. Will walkers now poop? Oh, I don't think you asked a question there. Headband. Yeah, I think I was looking for another name, though. Maybe this new villain is Dave. No. And she's pissed he wasn't cast as Ezekiel. Oh, I get it. You're joking. He's the guy who does the voice for Telltale. How is Jim never killed a walker before? He's 3 years into the apocalypse. It feels unrealistic. Yeah, again, those characters I don't like. Not now. And we've had that. We've had characters, numerous characters. Gabriel, for one. We've had a lot of characters at Alexandria, for another. I get frustrated by that, and it connects just with what I said previously. We've enjoyed. Oh, look at this newcomer. He doesn't even know how to deal with zombies. So it's like it's fresh. We're seeing him, somebody deal with it all over again. But it's not though. It's not fresh. It's not new. Let's throw a different spice onto that. Let's throw a new flavor onto that. Get interesting with how people react to killing. Let's have this guy truly bothered by it. So when it's his turn, he doesn't like killing groups of them, or he has to do something stupid like he'll rip off a piece of cardboard from one of the boxes and he pokes the knife through and he has to look, and but when he kills it, he can't witness him. He can't see it. You know what I mean? He doesn't want to see it visually. And again, that was a nugget. Don't say I want that, but I want them to sit down and think, let's pick out something new instead of just going, nah, he was making beer the whole time. He's just like Father Gabriel. He's new to it. He's just like this. He's new to it. They might have did that just because they needed him to say, oh, I'm not going to go help Morgan, And they still could have done that if he could kill them, but he didn't want to see it. That's kind of funny when I think about it. I wonder if you can actually do a funny, that might be problematic. Mama Otter, how long do you think it took Morgan to walk from Georgia to Texas? Could it justify the time skip? It could justify anything. And that's the good thing about traveling. If it takes a human being, let's say 6 months to walk from here to here, if that's the time it takes, it could be any time, because he could have had problems along the way with the weather, problems along the way with finding food, scavenging, tired, you could have got sick. So it could take someone 6 months, but it took Morgan 6 years because there was so much shit going on. So when it comes to how long does it take, that's the beauty of it. It could be any number of delays. So it's up in the air. We got a $1.99 super chat support. Thank you very much from Jay Kramer. There's a new gameplay demo for Overkill's The Walking Dead. I'm going to check that out. I do have to get a drink, though. I have a little bit of whiskey and a soda in there. I would like to sip on some. If you guys wouldn't mind talking to Juliet for like 3 minutes. Would you guys mind? Hey. You want to talk to them for 2 minutes? I got to get a drink. Don't yell into the mic. In only 2 minutes, you can talk to them at the end. Are you tired? You can go to bed. All right, Juliet's going to talk to you for 2 minutes. Bandana or scarf? Yeah, I was kind of thinking of something like that. Did part of this episode feel like part 2 of a series of beer promotions? Yeah. Yeah, he was making beer. Here, I just got to get a drink. Sit down right here. And don't get too close to the mic, because then it'll be all loud.
Okay. Okay, guys. I know what to tell you. I don't know. I chipped my tooth today. Yeah, I chipped my tooth today. That's all I got to tell you.
Talk, honey. Tell them you created a channel.
I created a YouTube channel called Typical Juju, and I have not a lot of subscribers. I have, I think, 50 subscribers now, and I'm really looking forward to get more subscribers. And I only have 91 views. Yeah, I only have 91 views, and I only have 50 subscribers and 12 thumbs ups. So my channel is called Typical Juju if you guys want to subscribe. Yeah. Right. I'm out.
You can talk to him again later.
My crooked teeth are everywhere.
Huh?
My crooked teeth are everywhere.
Well, it's something you got to deal with till we get you braces. Daddy had crooked teeth when I was little. I looked like I looked like a can opener. I used to open my soup like that. True story, bro. Yeah, my teeth were all crooked. One kid called me a beaver, and I punched him in the face. And he never said it again. True story. All right, what's the name of it? Typical Juju. What's the name of what? Her channel or something else?
My channel.
Orange juice is the shit. Play Fortnite.
No.
Uh-huh.
Fortnite's dumb.
You know what? I haven't played Fortnite in a month, I think. I had that whole series on Fortnite, and it is going to come up. It's probably going to be up primarily on the Ronnie Hayes channel. I got a lot ready to go where in one more week, I think. I keep saying one more week, but I want to make sure I have a whole backlot where once I put them up, I can just rock and roll for a whole month and get them all uploaded. But Fortnite's weird, man. If you're busy and you don't play for a week, when you play again, it's not fun. Everything changes, man. And the smallest change is the hugest thing because now the strategies change. And what's with Fortnite in the gaming community? You know what? I'm not even going to talk about it, but I will say it. Meta. The word meta, the definition of meta, I think 90% of gamers are using it wrong. They're taking the word meta as the word strategy. There's so many times where somebody goes to say strategy and they're calling it meta. Now, maybe I missed something, you know? But meta, has to be, what is it called, self-referential or something. It has to reference self life. That, like, you know what's the definition of meta? If in The Walking Dead season 9, when they kill or wound the Whisperer Beta, and they lift off his mask and they go, wait a minute, I know that guy. He was on that biker show. That is meta, because it references itself in real life in the show. Because in real life, he was a biker on Sons of Anarchy. And in the show, they're referencing that. That is meta. So many times I hear people being like, yeah, my strategy is to use this and go and do this and this. And they'll say, that's my meta. But that's not a meta. It's a strategy. Anyway, rant done. It could be my mistake. There could be like a second definition that I don't know about, you know. I only learned it, meta being referential, or whatever that word is. It references. I screwed that up. Sounds like Friday the 13th game. Well, Friday the 13th, my brother bought that for me, and I would have a lot more fun, except for it's a little bit clunky, and they could fix it. However, they lost a lawsuit, so they're not doing anything to the game.
So gory.
Yeah, but they lost a lawsuit, so they're not doing shit to the game.
They're like, no, we ain't gonna
There's
fix it.
metahumans in DC world. Yeah, not metahumans. What is on the channel? A lot of goofy stuff, but everything on typical Juju will be Juju primarily. Like, I'm not going to be in every video. She's got a bunch of videos recorded with like making slime and doing projects. I even got permission from my brother. I wanted to ask first to see if my niece and nephew could be on too, and that way the kids can do fun projects. I'm going to get some neat and weird and fun and creative projects for them to do. So we'll figure it out, but Juliet doesn't like Harry Potter. Kind of, sort of. She's in that up and down with interest. I do believe she's going to be heavy into it and loving the movies. Give it another year. I strongly think that, you know? Do you think the crazy chick is kind of how a grown-up Lizzie would be? They even said similar stuff, that they were saving them, making them better. In a variant way, sure. But there's something off. We need to figure out what exactly it is, because I don't know what the hell she just doesn't make any sense. With Lizzie, you can see the sense of how crazy it was. You can see the sense there in her craziness. But this girl it's not making sense. When you die, you get stronger. I don't get that. Lizzie was, you know, it's still alive. You're still living. It's just a different type of life, you know? Thank you very much. Caroline C. said, not at all. Go ahead, get the whiskey. You're a whiskey gal. Yeah, there's 3 things I want in heaven, if there is a heaven. Women, whiskey, and weed. And I'll be happy. What? What? What?
I have 99 views and 61 subscribers.
Yeah? She's freaking out. I told Juliet, our goal is, she wanted like 50 subscribers. She wanted like 50 subscribers or 100 subscribers, and I told her, I said, listen, we'll get you like 300 for sure, definitely. But you need to give it time to grow. You need to, you know, it's going to take some time. So she's all excited, but that'll be fun too, because there's a lot of people on the channel that they like the Munch Pack videos, and they like the family things. And one of the problems with posting videos is being a single parent, there's a lot of times where me and Juliet will be doing something where if I recorded it and made that fun time a video as well, we would have content. But I didn't want to blur the lines between the adult content on Megapath Presents, because make no bones about it, it will primarily be adult, gory, because we have a heavy slant towards the sci-fi and horror genre. I would be just joking you guys and myself if I turned half of the channel into, you know, the family, you know, pure, you know, it's no bullshit, family friendly. Like, and that's what I want Juliet's channel to be, the typical Juju, where I want a parent to look through the channel and have that security, that peace of mind, knowing, even though they're a little bit edgy, you don't have to worry about, slipping in those adult jokes and adult things that kids shouldn't be messing around with. And you see that shit all over on the family channels. It's disgusting all over YouTube. So I want that to be a place where people can go. And it's a nice branch off of this, because like I said, there's so many times where we'll be doing stuff where we can turn that into a video. Like our movie nights, we can put some of it on here, some of it on her channel. And we got some interesting things, like telling stories about little stories, but you guys will see. I don't want to spoil too much. Put on your dad's hat. We won't notice a difference. You created a channel. Awesome possum. Yeah, I'm starting to really dig my old man hat. I really got to shave my head, though. Look at my hair's growing back a little bit. I'm keeping it until Halloween. I'm still hoping that Juliet will let us dress up as Joel and Ellie. So far, she's saying no. But
I'm being my thing monster.
You're being the thing monster? Oh, jeez.
I don't even know what it looks like. I've never watched that thing.
We'll watch it one of these days. When you get a little bit older. It's one of Daddy's favorite movies.
Like
yeah.
Krampus.
Well, that's not my favorite, but we're going to watch that this Christmas.
Oh.
Muse said, I have a daughter who likes to watch other kids' channels. I'll tell them my girls have a section on my YouTube. Yeah, definitely appreciate. And Angela said she's going to subscribe, honey. Definitely.
Okay, don't tell me every time.
Bourbon is better than whiskey.
How do you know? You shouldn't be drinking it.
Overkill's The Walking Dead looks horrible now. They should delay it again. It looks like a bad remake of Dead Island. Listen, I saw a clip where it looked 10 times better than what we saw previously. It was a newer clip. It was on Twitch, and it actually had your characters, your partners there, and it actually looked like them. No, it didn't look like the cinematic trailer, but it looked like them, Is that whiskey sour? No. But I still think when they started the promoting it, it hurt them not showing the game. I strongly believe that. There's so many people in real life and online that I know that were hyped. And now they won't even listen to me when I tell them, you know what, dude, I think they're going to polish it up. It's not going to look like the cinematics, but dude, it might be worth it. They won't even listen to me or hear me out or none of that. They are straight up. And if the fan base doesn't go nuts, if the fan base doesn't go, oh my God, this is a must play game, they're not nothing. You lost them. You permanently lost them by doing a cinematic trailer, and because they're not listening. They will not click on your game and watch it. And I'm saying this as someone who wants them to succeed. I want more games like this from Skybound. You failed at the marketing. That was a failure. What you need to do now is recognize that and reconcile that and do something different, some different type of strategy. You need something like a big explosion, figuratively speaking, to get people to turn their heads and notice. People who were like, I don't even want to look at that, Honey whiskey is delicious. Yeah. I made a couple, or not a couple, but one drink I don't even remember, but I made a drink that we put on the menu at the bar just for like a couple weeks. It was Coke and weed, but it was cherry whiskey, but it was Jeremiah weed cherry whiskey, I believe. I'm almost positive. You guys could look that up if that's the right name. But yeah, it was it's Jack and Coke, but it's Coke and weed. So just, it has a better visual you can put on the thing, make fun of it, because Coke and weed, double entendre, is that what it's called? No, play on words. Anyway. So, going to see. I believe what it was is you get the cherry Pepsi or cherry Coke with the cherry Jeremiah whiskey, and you put a cherry in it, if I believe. I know there's some people that it's regular Coke, the whiskey, the cherry whiskey, with a splash of cherry syrup, and then the cherry in it, and that would be a Coke and weed, or a weed and Coke. Water is better than whiskey. honey whiskey is delicious. Going to see Predators next Sunday. Yo, we are going to see The Predator, and I am so hyped. Yo, my man, Mr. H Reviews, he sent me a message on Twitter, and I'm still pissed at him because we were supposed to review The Predator or talk about it in a collab video before he saw The Predator, and I saw The Predator, but he wasn't sure if he was going to go see the an early screening until at the last minute. So then he messaged me and he's like, dude, my bad, because now we can't do that. So I did in my Dutch voice. I was like, you son of a bitch. That's from The Predator. Anyway, his review is up. It's Mr. H Reviews. The first half is spoiler free and the end is spoilers. I shut it off halfway through because I don't want any spoilers, but I can't wait. Me and Juliet, I'm taking her out of school early to see that. Actually, I gotta ask him if there's any nudity in that. I want a heads up. Cold frothy beer is better than water. I can't wait to see all the new content and Juliet's videos. Well, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be real fun. I can't wait either. Keep in mind, it's gonna be fun and interesting because Juliet's doing stuff by herself. Like, she's gonna be coming out with videos. The only thing I'm gonna be doing on a lot of it is obviously when we collab, I'm going to pull my ideas, but she's going to be doing a lot of videos and I'm just going to teach her how to actually film it. Like today, I went to my grandparents with the family, right? We had a dinner and I washed my car and we did a practice where we made that into a video, but we can't use it because 90% of it, Juliet's just shaking the camera. So that's why we do these practice ones, because she needs to learn that. And it's something I, as an adult, do sometimes. You know, I'll move the camera too fast, and it makes the visual all nuts. Why don't they have weed in the apocalypse so much easier than beer? I don't know why. I think they should. Negan had some. He had it in his compound. I like it. Grow some dreadlocks. Clearly, you've never grown weed, says... I don't know what you guys are talking about. Ronnie, have you ever played Super Meat Boy? No. It grows everybody. What weed that is. Alright, that's not even a complete sentence. That's some heavy makeup, Juliet, the Thing Monster. I saw a clip. Oh, yeah, the Thing Monster would be a nuts costume. I saw a clip that looked even more horrible than everything we saw before. Ouch, that's bad. Would you and Juliet dress up like Logan and Laura if Joel and Ellie doesn't work out? I would need that's next year, not this year. I would need a whole year to work out, man. I got a dad bod going on. I would look like the worst Wolverine ever. Hopefully Overkill's good. It grows, everybody, not even English. Yeah, that's what I said. Are you going to review Hereditary? My favorite horror movie this year, and I saw your tweet about it. I will. If you guys want me to talk about it, I'll talk about it. Hey, Ronnie, what is your prediction of how Rick Grimes will exit? I gave my prediction. I want the Whisperers to stab him to death or kill him or something. I don't want it to be over, heavy-handed, whatever. Spaceman, you've never been to KY. Weed is like Christmas trees here. #1 cash crop. Richard says, Q&A. When is that video coming out detailing your criminal history? Never. That's a tricky one. I have pulled out some pictures, some images. Here, you don't believe me? Oh, damn it. Now I got to get up. Dropping the shiz.
You dropped some on me.
I know, I'm sorry. I'm working on scripting it. Let me just put it that way. I kept all the paperwork because that was a fear of mine, losing paperwork and then being like, getting caught up and not having my receipts. So I got binders of every single paperwork I had from everything since I was like, I don't know, the first time I got arrested at like young, like 17 or something. So I was pulling out old-fashioned pictures. I know any kids listening, they are old-fashioned pictures. And it's tricky because I wanted to put like real pictures in with the video and tell it like a story, but make it interesting. It's not just about like, look at me, guys, look at me, guys. There's an interesting story there, and every person I told it to, and there's people who know me, like friends and family, who have seen it, witnessed it. They were there, they know parts of it, so they know when I tell and fill in the gaps. Everyone is just like, damn, that's some interesting and crazy shit. So that's what I wanted to present, like an interesting story, like if it was a novel or a book or this and that. The only thing that gets me a little iffy is because I don't want it to seem like, look at me, you know what I mean? So I wanted to do images just to add to that visual aspect of the storytelling, and come away with something, because there is crazy shit. Like a part of it, you're not even going to be able to see it, but here is a true story. This is a Polaroid of me. Actually, Juliet's mother took this picture with a toy shotgun with a sign that says "fuck the police," because I knew they were raiding the apartment soon, and I put that in. I had it all set up where I put that in a locked safe, and they believed that that safe was loaded, and what was in there would put me in prison for the rest of my life. And that was because I needed a decoy to get rid of something else. So there's this whole story behind it where, like, I succeed. I succeed like hardcore. Like I played this role of just being like this another shithead they bagged up, just depressed little shithead with a little bit of pot and yada yada yada. And when they even had to raid a different house, and I gave this spiel like, oh man, I don't want you to get my shit. And then finally I believe I gave the permission to go up and get whatever was in that house that I stored, and here it was the safe they were looking for. The whole idea in my mind was, without telling them, just leaving a little wink, like a wink that I found out that that girl was a snitch ahead of time. She was a confidential informant. I found that out early, and I didn't want to do anything, I didn't want to mess anything up. I wanted to wrap something up, and it's a huge ordeal I got to talk about in specifics, but I wanted a little wink in there, like a middle finger. So that's why I hid this, because it says "fuck the police." When they opened the safe, expecting all these drugs and guns and all this shit, there was nothing but a few family photos, but in it was my wink to them, like, fuck you. And I was like, because they popped me with like a joint, basically, in possession. That's all they got on me. That's it. It was 1.3 grams of some good shit. And I'm going to put in the video, I'm going to put when they raid your house, they actually leave a paperwork of everything they took. And they'll just either stamp it on your door or leave it. They'll trash your house and just throw it, and it's the official paperwork of everything they took, so you can look it over. Well, I still have that. And what they did is, since I left the joint and some rolling papers above the cabinet where I was cooking, they took everything in there. And if any sandwich bags, like a macaroni and cheese box that's in the police report, they took all that as evidence of distribution and shit like this. So my whole thing was, I got you. Because if I didn't do the decoy, they would have buried me, because I had something heavy at the time. So I got the one thing out, and that's the story I want to tell, because it was kind of like this cat and mouse thing. It was so interesting because I knew I was under investigation, so I would get just wasted, and it's stupid now. And I highly, like, if you do this, you're an idiot. But I would get wasted and drive down to the grocery store or whatever, because I knew they wouldn't throw away their investigation if I ever got picked up. And sure enough, and I have the paperwork, I did get picked up on a DUI, and I knew it was coming. When they brought me back to the precinct, they dropped all charges and mysteriously let me go, because they didn't want to pop me for DUI. That would have messed up the investigation. They wanted to pop me for something big later on. So there was a whole ordeal where I was talking shit to them, because I knew the two of in the drug task force. I didn't like them at all. And they didn't like me, but they broke a rule, in my opinion, they shouldn't have broke. And it's like, they're not dirty cops, but it's that fine line where they look away. And in my opinion, you're dirty for that anyway. So they're good cops on record, but they look away. And that's one thing you'll learn in Luzerne County, where I'm from. It's corrupt as shit. And even people who aren't corrupt, there's a lot of people that will look away. They'll do messed up shit and just be like, that ain't nothing. Like, my confidential informant was selling heroin under the protection of the police. She got popped after being watched for a year plus by the FBI, and she was what they call like a lieutenant in this like crack operation. It was crazy, and they were using her to pop people for joints, like for just weed. Like, are you guys happy about paying tax dollars for letting like a hard drug pusher go and continue to push heroin under the protection of the police just to pinch people who sell weed? Like, that's happening. That is the war on drugs, and it's ridiculous. Long story short, and this is a part of the big story I want to tell. Once I was when I was in the county getting processed, I was thinking, yeah, I got this. Like, I got away. I'm gonna do like 6 months, maybe a lot less, right? I'll do like 2-3 months, and I'm done. And then I met with a lawyer who said, oh, here, do like 2 years, and then you'll be done. And I was like, what are you smoking? Give me a real lawyer. I'm not doing 2 years in jail. And then that's when that's when I realized I fucked up. Even though I managed to weasel out of a huge crime, like it would have been like done. I would have been done. I was within 1,000 feet of a school zone, so they popped me for 4 to 8 in prison. Upstate in state penitentiary for 1.3 grams of weed. No, nothing hard at all. You know, no guns, no coke, no soft, no hard, none of that. 4 to 8 upstate. Ouch! Off just trees. The first judge I went in front, he actually put the paper down and called the prosecutor over and said, "Are you fucking serious? What are you guys doing? What?" And he begged me to, because I pulled something, I forget what it was, to delay the process, but I did something to get in front of another judge or get a new lawyer, and he begged me. He said, let me sentence you. And I have a feeling he did that to be fair. I think he was going to fight the prosecutor and put me in, for like maybe a year or two. I think he was really trying to do a good thing because he looked at what they were going for. Because listen, to understand this, they have what's called a mandatory minimum, which means, and there's a lot of people against this, which means if you do a certain crime within 1,000 feet of a school zone, and here's the trick, it's not just a school. If it's a bus stop, any bus stop, school bus stop, a bus stop with civilians, if it's near a park or it's near a gym or a karate dojo, like there's all this crap. And the lawyer told me, we even paid for a real good lawyer. The lawyer said, if you get technical, almost every square inch of this city almost is a school zone. So everybody who gets popped should go away for a mandatory minimum. But it's such a messed up process. But what they do is, even if it's something so small, like a joint, a little joint or half a joint, you now have to serve a mandatory, no good behavior. You can't just be good and get out early. A mandatory minimum of 2 years because it's at school zone. And the DA, my prosecutor, wanted it to run, it's not, what is it? Not concurrent, consecutive, or is it concurrent? I forget. But there's concurrent and consecutive, which means the one, if you get sentenced 2 years off 2 felonies, they run it together. That's a good one to get, because then you get 2 years charged twice, but they'll run it together, so you do 2 years. But there's another one which they hit me for, which is you do 2 years for each felony, but you got to run it one after the other. So you do your 2 years, then you get hit with the other 2 years, so it's 4. So that's why it becomes a 4 to 8. 4 minimum, 4 years minimum, 8 maximum, because you have to stay on parole to finish your time out. So if you get out on, let's say, 4 years or 5 years, if you didn't have that good of behavior or whatever, maybe they didn't want to parole you, you still have to stay on parole for that max, which is 8 years. And then you're clean. You're out of the system. So there's a whole big ordeal, because I left Juliet's mother in the house, and I went to visit my best friend up in state penitentiary, like 2 hours away. And then the cops came in the house looking for somebody in the area, but there was a search warrant, there was no this and that. So they just came in my house and they were looking through my drawers, like they were looking through my medicine cabinets. Like it was messed up shit. It was crossing the line. It's not like, okay, we're looking for this whatever. And keep in mind, the girl they were looking for would eventually, it was either her friend or the other girl, but eventually she would be the CI. So I think it was all set up for them to just come in a house without a warrant and poke around. So they called me all frantic. They were threatening to take the kids off because she had a friend there, and they were threatening children's service for everyone involved. It was all this crazy shit. And keep in mind, my crib was clean. Like, I knew how to play the game. Like, that shit was clean. If I'm out of town, you ain't finding nothing, you know? So they came in trying to search every little nook and cranny. And if you're looking for a person, an actual person who's running off of parole, there's no reason to check the medicine cabinets. There's no reason to check my underwear drawer or where my jeans are at, or sock drawer. There's no reason for that. I had a little cubby hole. There's no reason to, and I had a recording studio, and there's no reason to dig through any of that. So they were doing more than that. They were looking for any and everything, right? So when I came back, I asked her to give me the names of the two cops, and I went right down there, and it was on. From that point on, like, I cursed them out in the middle of the precinct. Two cops right there, this open wide building, and I'm cursing them out because, keep in mind, they can't arrest me for nothing. You can't. Back then I used to study and read everything to make sure I can get away with certain things, and you can curse someone out. You can say curses in the middle of a public anything, as long as, and this is where your freedom of speech comes into play. A lot of people think you can't curse, and cops will arrest you for it, but it's wrong. They have to let you go because if it's not a threat or if it's not sexual in nature, it's freedom of speech. You could look that up. Unless they changed something in the last like couple of years. So I cussed them out heavy. And ever since then, it was on. Every time we saw each other, it was bad. I mean, bad. Like we run out in a bar or an alleyway, and it would come to, let's step outside, or let's go in the alleyway. Like, let's do this outside of the, whatever. So it was messed up. It was something else. There was this one time where I went into the Army and Navy store real quick, and I just left my car running. I had to run it because every so months I would buy these Army hats, either a green or black one, and I wore it all the time. I love the way it fits. If I could find another one, I would definitely cop it because it sat like kind of crooked. And matter of fact, you know what? I had this image. If I don't have it here, I won't even find it. But anyhow, I go into the Army Navy store, and they come in because they used to follow me everywhere I go. And they came in and they go, yo, in Pennsylvania it's illegal to leave your car running? I have it in this picture, but so we could pop you for this. And I'm like, come on, guys, you don't want to pop me and jam me up for something small. Yeah, you can't see it, but I used to get these Army Navy hats. Loved them, man, loved them. That's right when Juliet was born. That picture was taken, but. And so they gave me a big deal about leaving my car running. No kid in the car. None of that. Just me. I left it on. But here, I guess the reason they do is because someone could jump in and jack it and all this shit. So it's kind of like a law to protect you. So anyway, I'm leaving. And they're cussing me out. Like, just get going. Just go do this. No, that's what it was. When we get outside to the car, they try to pull this shit. We're going to get the drug dogs. And I know, in order for you to call a drug dog, like, you need to have probable cause. You need to have these clearances. And you can't just call it out at a whim, right? Maybe some places, but I know here you can't. So I dared them. I said, go get the drug dog. And I was like firm on that, and I knew the car was clean. I was not one of those idiots who would smoke a J going to Harlem to pick up some shit and then drive all the way back to PA. I knew a lot of guys who did that got popped. I never, you wouldn't get that out of me. I would be furious if I worked with anyone who was that sloppy, but I mean, it happens. But anyhow, so now it's like, okay, F you, I'm leaving. They're parked like this way. I back up. And my car stalled. At that time, I would have these problems with my car. And it stalled. And they get on the loudspeaker on the car, the microphone, and the megaphone. And they're like, sir, move your vehicle. And I could see the knuckleheads, two cops in the front seat of their police car laughing at each other. Like, we're going to have to tow your vehicle, sir. Move your vehicle. And I'm sitting here like, fuck, I was talking all this shit, I'm like a big badass, and my car just died right in front of them, and it was blocking the whole whatchamacallit, the whole street pulling in, so yeah, that was dumb. That was 10 years ago. Someone said, I wonder if they watch your channel. They don't give a flying fuck. This is 10 years ago. They probably don't even remember. Keep in mind, they arrest people every day, I'm sure they remember like 30 seconds of something. I knew something about the one dude. I remember he might know. The one might remember because I made fun of him or I broke his balls about his CI got killed like on his watch. It was messed up. I knew about it, and I told him about it after I got arrested. He did, and all cops do it. They say you can go home today. You can go just talk. You can go home today. You know what I'm saying? But my reputation was ironclad. Like you're not gonna pop me on weed and get me to break on that. You kidding me? It was laughable, especially since I thought I had a way out. I didn't know about the school zone at the time, so there was no fear in my heart at that time. Like, what am I gonna do? 6 months, even a year? I can do that standing on my head. That ain't nothing. And I'd stay in the county, which is all my friends from the neighborhood. So I truly didn't give a shit. So that's when I told him. I said, listen, bro, who are you playing? You know, your last CI just got stabbed. And this is how messed up it was. He got stabbed and killed in front of them. True shit. In front. He flipped, man. I thought he was going to punch me in the face right there because I'm chained up to the chair and all that, right? What happened is they had what I know or heard about it is they had the CI go up in front of maybe like a tractor trailer, and there was buildings in the back, and they told the dude, whoever he was meeting, told him to meet him around back, and the cops were sitting there watching the deal go down. He walks around back, and they stabbed him to death. And then I think that happened just like a month before they popped me. So what was I gonna say too? Yeah, there was just a bunch of. So anyway, I got a bunch of these different stories, and I wanted to put them together with images, but I wanted to do it in a way where it's not like showboating or doing this, that, and the third. I know we always get someone saying, "Oh, don't say that; they'll lock you up. Don't talk about it." But you got to understand, guys. This is I did my time. They can't, you know. I'm not talking about any new crimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did my time. I did my straight time. But did I see that? Did someone ask about where I'm from? If you want to know a little bit about where I'm from, look up Kids for Cash. That was a messed up thing. If you don't know what that is, they used to arrest kids, apparently, allegedly. They would arrest kids, and the judges, not the cops, but the judges had a deal with a private penitentiary for juveniles, and they would sentence kids to long terms in there. And what? Oh yeah. You know what? I'm running. Yeah, okay, we're gonna shut it down. Hold on. So they used to. Anyway, they used to get paid and get kickbacks. And coincidentally, they would throw kids in for long term and shit like that. Well, when I was getting paroled out, I think it was parole for that charge, I went in front of one of those judges. And it's funny because they brought me in and a bunch of other adult criminals, right? So I got my handcuffs on. I got my handcuffs shackled to my waist. And you know how they put that pad around your waist? They cuff you, and then they put your shackles around your feet, and that's connected to your waist as well. So you got all these shackles on, and you're shifting through, and you're going through the courthouse through an entrance where everyone, like visitors and normal people, citizens, you're to the side of the wall, and everyone's just looking like, oh, look at all these murderers. But it's not. It's just how you look. You know, you're all lined up, and some of them are murderers. And I know the one dude in front of me, he like shot his girlfriend in the face. They had a fight or whatever, took out her eye. So there's some bad people in there, but there was also, when we sat down, this kid sat right in front of me. This little, scared to death, must have been like 11. Oh my God, little tiny kid, shackled all the same. Scared, crying. He told his neighbor he was going to kill him. Like one of those, oh, you know, I'll kill you type things that kids say. All kids say some ridiculous shit. Well, when they brought him up, it was one of those judges. His name's Chivarella. You can look him up. He sent him right back to the pen. I mean, you could tell this kid learned his lesson. He was done. I mean, he was tiny. I felt bad for him. I was like, oh, man, you know? This is bad. I told him to keep his head up, right? Because he sat right in front of me. I was like, little man, keep your head up. Another prisoner, too, was like, yo, relax, bro. Keep it, you know, stay strong, yada, yada. Stupid shit. And, yeah, I sent him packing. That little, I don't know. Anyway, we are going to shut this down. I do want to look in the last recent questions, though, to see if there's any last questions. Okay, Mohan Singhal with a 9.99 super chat. Ronnie, I know that Rick is leaving The Walking Dead this season, and I know you don't like Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead doing crossovers, but I feel like it'd be so cool to see a quick draw composition between Rick and John Dory. Yeah, Rick doesn't. I don't know. I don't see Rick as like the quick draw type, especially with that big hand cannon. Yeah, it would be cool, but they wouldn't be going after each other, so I don't know how that would work. They would have to do a quick draw and both miss.
But Dad, have you seen The Walking Dead Telltales?
Mm-hmm. All right, let me cover. Dude guy said you missed one of my super chats, I think. No, I got them. Unless one didn't go through. I got both of yours. You said, just remember it's shitty and not much actual movie. Remember I talked about that? And then you said you uploaded a teaser. Jay Kramer, there's new gameplay demo for The Walking Dead. And then, yeah, that's it. I got all the super chats so far. Unless, I was going to say, unless it didn't pop up, but I don't see anything here. Am I excited for Saints and Sinners? Oh my god, I forgot what the hell that is. We haven't seen anything on that, right? Yeah, I'm excited for anything zombie related. Are you gonna watch a new zombie movie coming out called Anna in the Apocalypse? I didn't even hear about that. It's a musical? Oh, probably not. I might watch it just to talk about it on the channel, but I might not. Dude guy said you legit called it on Fear season 4 having a strong start and a lot of money spent on the first few episodes and then slowing down in the back half was been meh. Yeah, it's been a little meh. When do you think Dwight will come back to the show? Season 9. I hope he comes back. We're going to talk about that in my prediction video. I got my death prediction video coming up tomorrow. Did I get any prison tats? No. Unless I'm in there for a dime, I'm not going to do any prison tats, A dime or more. If I'm in there for 10 years or more, 10 years and more, I'll get prison tats, but if it's under 10, I'm probably not. Ronnie, thank you for telling more of your stories. I wanted to hear them during the summer. You should play more. There's going to be a whole thing. It's going to be the stories and the visuals, because keep in mind, I have all the paperwork. I got videos and I got pictures too, so... And I got some videos, not of like crimes and shit, but some kind of crimes, but shit I went to jail for, because we'd be recording while we're, bagging up work or smoking trees or something. But like I said, I already got popped for that, so I could show all that. Yeah, the live stream when Rick dies is going to be nuts. Who do you think could die if they go that route? I'm guessing June or maybe John. I think it would be tricky to kill June or John. Ronnie, my friend just got out of jail today for violation of probation and underage consumption. If he violates again, he gets 2 years. Yeah, I would have to know the specifics, but they always make it seem like a lot more than you think. Like when I went in for my my DUI, was it my first DUI? Did I even get a second DUI? No, I only had one DUI. I went in for my DUI and they told me, do you want 6 months in jail, or do you want 45 days house arrest? And I was already on house arrest before, and I hated it. Now I can do it no problem. I work from home. I don't go out and party every day. I'm not dating like 2 women at the same time. I could care less. Like now I could care less. I got my kid at home. I would just have to figure how am I getting her to school, set up like the bus or something. I could do that easily. But when my grandmother drove me in to turn myself in for that, or the court case, and they asked me 6 months in jail or 45 days house arrest, and I picked jail. That's how much I hated house arrest. But I knew something. The jails are overcrowded. So when you go in, as long as you behave, no fights, don't mouth off, 72 hours. So after 3 days, they'll parole you out. And that's what happened. When I went in for my DUI, it was a 6-month DUI instead of doing 6 months incarceration instead of doing 45 days in home confinement. Because you also have to pay $105 a week or $110 a week. And they treat you like an animal on home confinement. I can't stand it. They treat you like an animal. It's crazy. But listen, they treat you so bad. My parole officer, she was fine too. She came over and felt terrible. She called them out and bitched them out because of how bad they treat you on that home confinement. Because it's a third party. It's not a cop. It's somebody who gets paid, and they deal with criminals all day who can't talk back. Imagine that. Like, if I talk back, I go to jail. You know what I'm saying? So, but long story short, instead of doing 6 months, I did 3 days, and they paroled me out for the rest of my time. And then I behaved, so I was fine after 6 months. Harlem makes me think he's talking about New York. Yeah, I was. That's where I had to go pick up my weight. I didn't have any connection in PA. I had to go to New York. How many times have you gone to jail? I think 4 or 5. I'd have to look. Keep in mind, when I say that, the DUI one, it might be like 6 or 7, because keep in mind, there's, like, what are you talking about? A long stint or overnights, or like with the DUI, I was in there for 3 days, 72 hours. Out on parole after that, and then I was fine, and I did my time on parole, community service, shit like that. Is it me, or was strangely enjoyable this episode? I didn't enjoy anything from him this episode. He was just dark and bleak. Literally nothing has progressed this second half of the season. The villain is weak as fuck. Holy shit. Yeah, I feel the same. All right, I'm taking like the last question or two, and we're gonna wrap this up. Mohan Singhal says, Ronnie, you should buy a snake. They're great pets. No, thank you. No, thank you. I like the way they look, but I don't want one as a pet. Thank you for the $2 super chat support, though. I appreciate that. I heard the Predator is kind of cheap. I hope not. You heard The Walking Dead is directing a movie called Hellfest coming out in 28. Do you mean the company that runs The Walking Dead? Ronnie, what is your favorite superhero movie? I know MCU movies aren't your favorite, but still, my favorite superhero movie is probably the original Batman. I think, it doesn't have a lot in Bruce Wayne or the Batman, like the story, other than his, comic story. There's not a lot more weight there, and I know it could be improved upon, absolutely, but the look of it, if you take the passion, what they were going for and made it these days, it would probably be perfect, man. How do you feel about Adventure Time ending? Did Juliet watch? We don't watch Adventure Time. I'm sorry. Correction. Dark Knight was my favorite. Dark Knight. Yeah, thank you very much. What was I thinking? Jeez, Dark Knight. What are your thoughts on the 2 walkers that just stopped walking and turned around? That was the director thinking the audience is dumb. That's just zombies stopped and just automatically turned around. That was them not respecting the audience. They wanted to make it clean and easy. Like, look at that. They're walking. No, they just automatically turn and walk away. No. That just seems silly. My cousin in South Carolina has 4 DUIs and never went to jail, just had to do a class and got a suspended license. I had a record, though. If you look this up, I'm not exaggerating. I went to jail off my first because I had a record. And they call it something. When you go in for your DUI, I don't know how he's got 4. I don't know what. I just know in PA. Like, for example, this rich girl got busted, and she was in front of me when I was getting sentenced. She had 3 DUIs in one night. And they lumped them all together. And here's the thing I found out: when you get popped for a DUI, let's say I get popped on Monday and then I get popped on Friday, you can lump those 2 together when you go to court. You combine your court dates, even though it's 2 DUIs, you can combine them into one, so you get you get to do the class, and then you pay your fine community service or whatever it is, and you're done. Even though you got popped twice, you can combine them shits, and that's what she did. She had 3 in one night, combined it, because it's one that you're going for at the meeting, and she walked out of there like it was nothing. She was like a bitch too. You could tell she had money, and just went like a valley, white rich girl had that vibe, but it was pathetic. And then I walked up. I know my grandmother, she was kind of iffy, and they were cool about it. I asked if she can bounce before they did the cuffs, because they go overboard, man. You're going in with a DUI, you're turning yourself in, and they do all of it. They do your hands, they cuff you to your waist, and then they cuff you to your ankles. It's ridiculous. So, but yeah, I think that was the easiest time I ever went to jail. As soon as I walked in, I knew half of, because they put me in the work release building too. I didn't even go to, because you have the county prison, and then up top over to the corner, well, it comes down this way, is the work release building. And it's like you ever see Scarface, where they all sleep in it's called a chicken coop, but it's a bunch of bunks in a big room. Well, that's what it was like. But when I walked in, I knew half of everyone in there because they were from my neighborhood. So 30 seconds into the joint, I had food, I had cigarettes. It was pretty cool. So my neighbor actually saw me coming in through the gate, and he was waiting there. When I walked in, he's like, hey. So all right, we got to shut this down. You and your daughter should check out Stars versus the Forces of Evil. I'll look that up. I haven't heard of that. What should we expect this week in your channel? Monday, you're going to get the death prediction for The Walking Dead Season 9. And then I don't have anything scheduled, but keep an eye out, because I already started the process to get ahead of time, post videos for Patreon supporters, anyone in the 5 tier and up. For early videos, you get early access and stuff. So we're slowly getting into that with the schedules. And like I said, this is a free-for-all right now because the channel's under construction for a few months. So you're going to get content every single day this week, but it's going to vary. You know what I mean? So, all right, guys, put your thoughts and opinions down in the comment box. I really got to bounce tonight. I remember seeing a clip of old Superman show where this ask, is this your wife? The guy says, yeah. Superman says, they call me Superman Savage as fuck. I have no idea what that is. Oh, an old Superman show. Okay. Armageddon or Deep Impact? I'd probably go with Armageddon. Thank you, everyone who hooked up the Super Chat support for the channel. That is huge right now. The Patreon support, again, huge. Those are definitely huge because the channel gets a lot of videos demonetized just because of content. I think just having dead in the title, I'm not really sure, but the support is massive. And then Doomsday Kingdom, be on the lookout for the announcement either this week or this weekend for the release of issue 3. Thank you very much for the mods holding it down in the chat here. And don't forget Juliet's YouTube channel, Typical Juju, is up and running, and you should get your first video on that channel this week. And we're also going to be uploading some past videos where Juliet was on this channel. It's going to be on that channel as well. We're also going to do a compilation of some of her best moments on this channel. I'm going to try to find some of those and put those over there as well too, just for a little bit more to add. What's the word I'm looking for? To get us started, to get us ahead of the schedule is what I mean. So that way we're not last minute trying to upload a video for her channel. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. Thoughts and opinions about everything we discussed down in that comment box. I'm done talking, so it's your turn. Thank you very much for the support. It's been wild. It's been wild. So yeah, 2020 is going to be nuts, but we got a little bit to go before we get there. Already making some plans.